FUT Champions within FIFA 23 is arguably the most rewarding game mode that Ultimate Team currently has, and because of that, in today's video we are going to be going through the correct way in which you should be grinding this game mode. And yes, it does help if you're a good player, but there's also some secret hidden tips that you can use to use the game mode within your favor. So firstly, let's just go all the way back to the basics. In order for you to get into FUT Champions, you first need to go through division rivals. At the end of every single game that you play, whether you win, lose or draw, you will be gifted qualification points. These qualification points will vary. You're going to get more if you win, you're going to get considerably less if you lose. But this also changes based on a division. If you win a game within Division 10, you're going to get next to nothing. Whereas if you win a game within Division 1, you're going to be getting considerably more. So the higher the division, the more qualification points you'll get. This is a key detail later on when we talk about some of the secret hidden tips. But once you get 1,250 qualification points, which has been a number used for all seasons so far within FIFA 23, but can always change within the future, once you get that amount of qualification points, you can go into the FUT Champions playoffs. With the FUT Champions playoffs, it is still FUT Champions, but it's not the most rewarding part. You will still be rewarded. Every single time that you win a match, you'll be gifted 4 points. If you lose a match, you'll be gifted 1. The overall goal for this section of the game mode is to get 20 points. 20 points will give you a qualification token, which will allow you to enter into the FUT Champions final. This is the weekend league. In order for you to get 20 points, you need to get at least 4 wins and then 4 losses. As long as you get those 4 wins, it's mathematically impossible for you not to qualify, unless you make our first major mistake. Within the FUT Champions playoff menu, there's an option for you to forfeit all remaining matches. And you would think that because you have 10 games to play, that if you was to forfeit all of them, each of them should rightfully so gift you a point for each game. Unfortunately, you get 0 for everything. So there's been many times before where players have managed to get 4 wins out of the 4 games that they've played, and they don't want to play the rest, they just want to qualify. They forfeit the rest of the game within the menu and they get 0 points, meaning that they were unfortunately 4 points less than what they were needed in order for them to actually qualify. So they go back to division rivals to build up their qualification points again. Don't make that mistake. If you're going to forfeit matches, which is perfectly fine to do within Ultimate Team, go through playoffs, actually go into a game with an opponent, score an own goal, and then forfeit immediately. That will give them the win so that they can progress forward within their journey, whilst you still get the loss, but you'll still be gifted at least 1 point. So you can get 4 wins, forfeit another 4 by doing this, and you've instantly qualified with 2 games remaining. At that point, you can then press Y or triangle, depending what platform you're on, to forfeit the rest. Hopefully, all of that makes sense. Now with this is where you do have options. If you're a good, confident player and you have the time to spend and dedicate to this game, then don't just aim to get 20 points, aim to get more, because you will be getting much better packs as you progress through the ladder system. But if you're limited on time, it's better just to get the 20 points and then forfeit the rest. If you see yourself as not as a confident player, then it's still worth going through the playoffs. They're still rewarding, and as said, you're still gifted points for losing, so you can still progress. You may not be able to qualify for the weekend league, but you'll still be getting some packs at the end, and they will immediately be added to your account, so they're still worth playing through. Now, let's actually talk about the FUT Champions final. The FUT Champions final happens from Friday morning all the way to Monday morning. This is the weekend league. Once you use your qualification token to enter, you'll have 20 matches. And just like the playoffs, it's the exact same rules. If you win a game, you're gifted 4 points. If you lose a game, you're gifted 1 point. Now, how you play through this, just like the Champions playoffs, is entirely up to you. There's options here. It's not just one way in which you can play. Most people try to play all 20 games, but this can take an incredibly long time. Not to mention that during certain days of the week, especially Sunday, it seems gameplay can be incredibly inconsistent. You'll go into one game and it feels somewhat smooth, and then the next game will be a second or 2 of delay. So not only is it just about playing 20 games, but it could also be about playing games which are completely inconsistent from another, which definitely builds up frustration. If you can play all 20 and you enjoy going through, then by all means do it. Likewise, if you are a confident player and you know that you can be hitting towards those bigger and better rewards, then you should definitely dedicate the time to go and do so. Another option on the complete other end of the spectrum is those that do want to still claim okay rewards, but they either don't have the time or they don't have the patience for this game, so they forfeit all 20. If you're going to do this, yet again, you'll go into a game, you'll score an own goal, and then quit. The cool thing about this is even if you're intending to forfeit all 20 games, it's unlikely that you'll be 0 and 20. There will be a couple games where you'll come up to opponents who are doing the exact same thing. They're also forfeiting their matches, so if they have kickoff, you may get lucky in that they're gonna go and score an own goal and then quit, gifting you 4 points instead of 1. I've done this several times and there's not been a single time where I haven't had less than 36 points. It takes about 40 minutes to do so when going in and out of menus, and also just finding a match can also take a bit of time. But this is 40 minutes instead of what normally takes me about 3 days just to go and find time to play all 20 games. Now, if you don't want to play all 20 and you don't want to forfeit all 20, you could take a hybrid approach. FIFA Ultimate Team, even though the matchmaking can somewhat be inconsistent, it's still got a matchmaking system. So typically for most players, if they're on a negative streak where they've had 0 wins and 5 losses, they're likely going to come up against someone who's also in a similar position. Doesn't necessarily mean the exact position, but they may come up to someone that's had 1 win and 4 losses, or someone that's had 0 wins and 4 losses. Whatever it is, they're on a losing streak and it's negative. They shouldn't really be coming up to the best of the best, but that means that you can use this within your favor. This may just be a placebo, but when I've gone through this, I forfeit my first 5 games, so I'm 0 and 5, but for my next 5, I'll intend to play, and most of the time I'm able to win all 5 with ease. I'm either coming up to an opponent who's forfeiting, so they'll score an own goal and then quit, or I'm coming up to someone who's not at the same skill level as me. And I should highlight that my skill level still isn't high, it's just that right now I'm on a losing streak, so my matchmaking is coming up to other people at a similar level to that losing streak. Once I play those next 5, I'm probably 5 and 5, and it's at that point that it seems like games get progressively harder, in which I can make a decision to forfeit some or carry on playing. It really depends on how I'm feeling on the day. And there's also some games where you just want to play, but you want to get through it quickly. So if you get into a game and you immediately concede whilst playing, you forfeit. And this is also a playstyle that I take. Sometimes I do want to play FIFA, but I don't want to waste my time. If I come up to an opponent and I concede, I'll just quit, gift them the win, and then go into the next game and keep this going. The cool thing with both the FUT Champions Playoffs and the FUT Champions Final is no matter what option you take with playstyle, you'll still be gifted rewards. And at the end of the day, your rewards, with your pack rewards especially, not so much your coin reward, but your packs, it comes down to chance. We've all seen players that manage to do the very best, get the best of the best rewards, but unfortunately, they actually get extremely unlucky and they don't pack anything good, despite having hundreds of thousands of coins worth of pack rewards in order for them to open. But we've seen other players who get the bare minimum and manage to go and pack something amazing. Now, we have already gone through it that you can use the matchmaking to better your standing within your FUT Champions Final as well as FUT Champions Playoff. But there's also another tip that most players miss. This is the amount of attempts that you have with the playoffs. There is a limited amount of attempts that you have per season. Once you go through all of those seasons within the playoffs, you can't go through it anymore. Even if you do build up the qualification points, you're done. For those that need those games because it's hit or miss whether or not they qualify, you shouldn't be wasting these. But for those which are average or better, you're always able to qualify, which means coming towards the end of the season, there may be some attempts left over which you haven't gone through. You can actually use these to your advantage, but you will need to play a lot of games. If you are approaching the final weekend league for the season, there's only a couple days left. What's worth doing is going through division rivals, building up your qualification points, entering into the FUT Champions Playoffs, but purposely losing all games. Or at the very least, not qualifying. You just fall short. Now this does mean that you're not going to get a qualification token, but it doesn't matter because you've just been able to grind out some packs through your FUT Champions playoffs and they're instantly added to your account. Now, because you're an average player, you'll need to go back into division rivals. When going through division rivals, as long as you're from division 5 or above, it shouldn't take too many games in order for you to build up those qualification points again to attempt the playoffs again. I think you see where I'm going with this. You want to keep on going through this to maximize all your attempts, but keep on failing. You keep on failing to qualify and you'll keep on getting those packs added to your account. It's not a quick way to get packs because you still need to play quite a few games. And of course, this can't be done an unlimited amount because, well, there's a limited amount of attempts that you have for the playoffs, but you just keep on doing this to make sure that you're using all of your attempts apart from the final one. On that final one, it makes sense for you to use it to actually qualify. And hopefully, because yet again, you're an average or above player, normally you're able to qualify with ease. So hopefully on your last attempt, you'll be able to qualify and enter into the FUT Champions final for that weekend. And then once the season's over, all of those attempts are added back to your account for a completely new season. The amount of time as well as the amount of games that you have to go through will depend on the current division that you're in and the amount of attempts that you have left at the end of the season. The reason that you don't want to qualify for the first attempt is because the second that you do, your FUT Champions qualification points don't count anymore and you won't be able to enter into the playoffs until you've completed the FUT Champions final. The final thing to talk about is your rewards. Most people go through the playoffs or the FUT Champions final, get their rewards immediately added to their account after completing and immediately open them. This is somewhat of a mistake, but it does depend on the time of year it is. The player picks that you get as part of the FUT Champions final, it makes sense for you to open them there and then. There's no benefit to you holding on to them. You can save these other packs to be used at other times. If you know that something big is happening, either being because it's something that's happened in every other FIFA or because there's been many other leagues going about, it makes sense for you to save those packs to wait and hold off until those major events happen, rather than opening them and only getting some pretty poor Team of the Week player or something which is a pretty poor Friday promo. Still not guaranteed that you're going to get something good, but you're increasing your chances. But anyway guys, this is what you should be doing when going through FUT Champions. With this, there are some open ends depending on your playstyle, depending on your ability, your confidence, as well as your time. But what all of this is about is finding the best possible way in which you can use the time that you have and the ability that you have to get the best possible rewards. If you do have any questions about anything, then please feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. But anyway guys, I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did enjoy, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. But for now, I'm going to see ya.